And as we share our intimate prayers that are so close with us, we also share our lament for the collective life of our nation, which is also so close with us and affects us intimately, which is full in this moment of brutal cruelty and affront to our shared human dignity. We bring our anger at injustice and harm with us too to this sacred time of prayer. We welcome it as a holy source of power. We turn to our anger for clarity, for an invitation to solidarity, for a message about what we love and would protect, and for the agency to act. And so I invite you now into a moment of lament for all that is angering us now. We are angry that our nation's military is being turned against us. We are angry that our most vulnerable neighbors are being scapegoated and dehumanized and attacked. We are angry that wealthy politicians are trying to take away our health care. We are angry that those in power are using their platforms to spread lies and hatred. We are angry that families are being separated. We are angry. What are you angry about today? We are angry about too much. We are angry about the hypocrisy and the lies. We are angry about the genocide. We are furious. We are angry about all these guns. We are angry about greed and how expensive it is for most of us to live. We are angry about cuts to special education. We are angry about the inhumanity and the war. We are angry about pain for the vulnerable. We are angry about having to live in fear.
Targeting our trans beloved.
We are angry that they are targeting our trans beloveds.
Taking advantage of people who don't know better.
We are angry that they are taking advantage of people who don't know better.
Being divided.
We are angry about being divided from each other. We are angry that these things have been happening for decades and years up till now. We are angry about people being replaced by AI.
People who learned nothing from the last 100 years of history.
We are angry about people who learned nothing from the last century of history. We are angry about anthropomorphic despeciation.
Teachers being silenced.
Can you say that one more time?
Teachers being silenced.
We are angry that teachers are being silenced.
Angry that books are being banned.
We are angry that books are being banned.
That the environment is being destroyed.
We are angry that the environment's being destroyed. We are angry about mass incarceration and white supremacy. We are angry about the traumatized federal workforce.
Important institutions dismantled.
We are angry that the institutions that should serve us are being dismantled. We are angry that there are so many people without shelter.
Loss of reproductive rights.
We are angry at the loss of our bodily autonomy and reproductive rights.
Cuts to medical research.
We are angry that they are cutting medical research.
False imprisonment.
We are angry at so many who are being falsely imprisoned. Love, hold, we have more anger. What was that?
Black and brown people being scapegoated.
We are angry that black and brown are being scapegoated. Black and brown people are being scapegoated. We are so angry that words can barely come out of our mouths. We are angry. Love, hold us in our righteous rage. Help us channel the energy of this fury into a great and transforming force. Help our anger make us rise like the water. Help our anger let us resist oppression. Help our anger let us power our love. People gonna rise like the water, gonna shut oppression down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me now. People gonna rise like the water, gonna shut oppression down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me now. People gonna rise like the water, gonna shut oppression down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me now. People gonna rise like the water, gonna shut oppression down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me now. People gonna rise like the water, gonna shut oppression down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me now. People gonna rise like the water, gonna shut oppression down. Hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying, fight for me now. Fight for me now. Fight for me now. Fight for me now.
The reading this morning is by Marge Piercy, and it is titled, A Just Anger. Anger shines through me. Anger shines through me. I am a burning bush. My rage is a cloud of flame. My rage is a cloud of flame, in which I walk, seeking justice like a precipice. How the streets of the iron city flicker, and the dirty air fumes. Anger storms between me and things, transfiguring. A good anger acted upon is beautiful as lightning and swift with power. A good anger swallowed, clots the blood to slime.
At last this week, the air finally cooled, at least for a while, to that autumn crisp we've been longing for across so many summer hot September weeks. There is a room in my house that has windows on every side, and on that first cool morning, I threw them all open and sat down for my daily meditations, which meant I got to start my day enveloped in chill air and surrounded by a symphony of bird song. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Praise the chill. Amen, bird song. I had a therapist once who taught me about nervous system regulation and how to tune the instrument of my body towards safety. Her top recommendation was to go lie in the grass and listen to bird song. She told me birds know about predators. They're often the first to flee in the presence of danger. So the ancient animal curled at the base of each of our skulls knows that when birds are singing their symphony, we are safe. It is a lovely hack, and I use it a lot. But it isn't quite true, of course. Not anymore. Our ancient brains fail to take into account, well, us. All the profound ways human avarice and hubris have found to make us unsafe from one another, even when we are sitting in a peaceful sun porch on a sunny, quiet morning. That beautiful, brisk morning, I sat down to meditate amid a sound bath of bird song. But before that, I checked the day's headlines. And I read about Black Hawk helicopters churning the dream-filled midnight air over a slumbering Chicago apartment building, and paramilitary federal agents rappelling down the brick walls of neighbors and their homes. And I read that they burst into dozens of apartments of sleeping families and destroyed their carefully arranged rooms and carried the people out in zip ties. The hallways of the building afterwards were a wreckage of pillows and fans and papers, blankets and beloved things. And I read that they tore the cuddled up naked children from their sleep-stunned parents' arms and loaded those babies into U-Haul trucks like a jumble of junk while they drove their parents off in military vehicles. And all of it was done with brutal force, a boot on the neck of our liberty, a stain on our humanity. And so that morning outside my window, the birds were giving a symphony, and inside my heart, the sirens were blaring. I cry almost every day right now, and there is deep grief in my tears. My heart is torn open by all of the loss and cruelty we are all experiencing at the hands of the state, some of us much more violently than others. I am shredded with the grief of it. But grief is not the only source of my tears. I cry when I am angry. I always have. Tears of helpless rage. And these days, I am furious all the time. I go to bed enraged, and I wake up incensed, and I spend the day simmering with anger. This is all so wrong. It is not how the world should be. All this wanton cruelty is an affront to everything beautiful and precious and sacred, and I am so furious about it all the time, and I don't know what to do with all this rage. It's eating me up, this rage. It's burning me from the inside. It's untethering me. And I know right now, the last thing I can afford to be is untethered. I know right now I need you. And you need me. And we all need each other. And so the best thing I have come up with for this rage is to just bring it here and join it with yours. to carry our shared and righteous ire before the altar of our shared humanity, and to try together to make something loving of it. In 1981, the incredible Audre Lorde delivered an address to the National Women's Studies Association conference. It was titled The Uses of Anger. It's 6 sermons in itself, and if you haven't read it, I commend it to you today. Please go home and read it. It should have been a sermon instead. In that talk, Audre Lorde said, "Women of color in America have grown up within a symphony of anger, at being silenced, at being unchosen, at knowing that when we survive, it is in spite of a world that takes for granted our lack of humanness and which hates our very existence outside of its service." She writes, "I say symphony rather than cacophony, because we have had to learn to orchestrate those furies so that they do not tear us apart. We have had to learn to move through them and use them for strength and force and insight within our daily lives." In the uses of anger, during times of oppression, we have many experienced teachers who teach us that survival is not a siren, it is a symphony. And our fury, too, can be a symphony of warning bells, a blaring anthem to what we most love. This rage is burning me up, but I do know in my bones that it is a righteous anger, made of grief, made of care. We can use this righteous fury when we join together to speak it and sing it and shout it and harmonize with it, when we do not let it turn our blood to slime, as the poet writes. We can use this rage when we let it flow, when we let it lead us through our pain and fear directly toward what is most precious to us. My gentle father almost never raised his voice growing up. This is probably an exaggeration, but in the watercolor wash of my childhood memories, he only yelled at us when he was frantically worried, mostly when we'd hurt ourselves doing something dumb. My most vivid memory of him being angry was after he watched me careen down a hill on rollerblades, doing the absolute stupidest trick and gaining way too much speed and totally eating it at the bottom of the hill. He was so afraid for me, so powerless to stop my pain, and he yelled at me before he bandaged my scrapes so tenderly. But I think even then I understood. And I know I have done the same to my children. Anger protects our hurt and our heartbreak and our fear. And so anger is a treasure map to the shining golden chest spilling over with what we love. We can use our anger to map our care. But that is not its only use. Our rage is something more than a dot on a map. Feel it coursing through your body. It is a force. It is a power to do something with. Rage arises as our wise body's powerful response to feeling powerless. Rage is the flailing insistence of survival when there is a boot on our necks. Rage is pure power itself. And this is confirmed by whose rage is most and least acceptable in the systems of empire. The people empire wants closest to power are protected in their rage, they are stoked in it, and it is turned against us. And the people empire wants to keep power from are violently punished for any expression of anger. It has always been so. Rage is pure power, and power can be used for good or ill. And one way to make the distinction is to think of power over versus power with. Power over is the bread and butter of empire. It oppresses and controls. It seeks to bring everything under its fist. But power with is the free flow of agency that bubbles up from deep inside every dignified human spirit, joining each to each. Power with can move us together down a path to mutual thriving and collective liberation. In our public life right now, we are seeing a vast and shocking display of the rage of empire and patriarchy and white supremacy being funneled into power over others, hatred and violent oppression. It is killing us. It is killing our people. And perhaps we feel how our rage could tip in that direction too. How empire is rooting for our rage to tip in that direction, is trying to push our rage in that direction, is inviting us to join the violent chaos, is beckoning us to give up on our fellow humans and give in to hatred. Which is why we are going to be wise with our rage. Which is why we are going to remember that rage can be a positive power too, that we can funnel it into power with as a source of power for freedom, powerful solidarity. Valerie Kaur has written, "The aim of divine rage is not vengeance, but to reorder the world." Not vengeance, but to reorder the world. One powerful connection at a time. Here's a low-stakes story. This week, my spouse got very riled up about something he loves to rail about: the absolute waste, the utter scam of generative AI. Did you see him shudder? There's a lot to be madder about, but this is a good, a good thing to also be mad about. It's the current favorite project of the techno-fascists. It requires a truly massive output of earthly resources to run and cool the computing power it takes to crunch our stolen human creativity through large language models and spit out creepy, problematic, and usually very inaccurate results. Ooh, are you getting riled up? The amount of water used to cool the data centers that provide this computing power is an environmental catastrophe in and of itself. But communities around the country are building these data centers with some hope of an economic benefit that they will assuredly never see.
Communities are not building them.
Right. The companies are building them. So guess what James found out on Tuesday? They're rezoning a plot of land in North Columbia. And they're talking about making it a data hub. Y'all, you should have seen him. Pacing, railing, pulling at his hair, yelling at the sky. He was so furious. And I'm so proud of what he did next. He plugged in that power and started making connections with it. He called somebody he knows that understands the planning and zoning process. He drove out to the proposed land to see who lived there and started knocking on doors. I listened to him that day cold call all the neighbors who lived on the adjoining properties, and a couple of them answered the phone. And when they did, he shared his passion and his concerns, and some of them agreed with him, and a couple of them are going to do something about it together. Because our anger is raw power, and it can be the right kind of power when we plug it in, when it is joined with others in fierce hope for something better and a dogged insistence on the possibility of our shared thriving. In that small, low-stakes example, I see a few instructions for what to do with all this rage. You know, I hope everything I do in my ministry led you to not expect a direct answer to the question in my sermon title, what do we do with all this rage? But lo and behold, every now and then I am overtaken by circumstances. I have been clamoring for a few instructions in these confounding times. So today, I have a list. What do we do with all this rage? It's only 3 points, y'all. Don't get too excited. What do we do with all this rage? Number one, ground it like it is lightning. In the thick of your rage, put your feet on the ground. Open the window to hear the birds. Cling to those you love, sometimes literally. Remember that you live in a universe much more vastly beautiful than even the worst travesty they can dream up. Visualize the earth holding you steady enough to channel all this raw power without it burning you up. Number two, keep it moving and discharge it when you need. If you push down your rage, it will corrode your heart like an old battery, or it will come out sideways as passive aggression or violence to those you love. Find outlets to let off the pressure that are generative for you: art, song, sports, screaming. This is just a total hypothetical, but you could print out a photo of a masked ICE agent and tape it to your wall and practice all of your most creative cursing in its direction. Just an idea that I totally just came up with right this moment. But don't give all that rage away. Remember that we need it to reorder the world. Which leads me to my third and most important answer. Plug it in and channel it toward our shared survival. If rage is pure power, well, we've got a lot of work to fuel, and we need all of us plugged in together with that power. Bring it here, and take it to your neighbors in a way that doesn't totally freak them out. Use it to feel powerful and be powerful in community. Channel it toward love, channel it toward hope, channel it toward solidarity, because otherwise empire is going to channel it toward hate. You know, the thing that strikes me most about James's ad hoc organizing this week is that when he called those neighbors, they each thought they were the only one upset with the deal, and they each thought there was nothing they could do about it. But James was mad, and his anger was power. And when he used it to connect with others, it became a bigger shared kind of power. And suddenly nothing felt quite so inevitable, and no one felt quite so alone. How many of us in this moment are stunned and overwhelmed and maybe feeling really alone about the cruelty being exacted on our hearts and our lives? And how many of us find ourselves feeling there's nothing we can do about it? Empire thrives on our perception of its inevitability. They want us to think all this cruelty is a done deal. They want us to think we are alone. And it is our rage that shows us neither of those things is true. Our rage is the energy that disrupts that inevitability. Our rage is a force that can push the boot off our neighbor's neck and our own. Our rage is the symphony of our survival. It is the power to reorder the world. We can use it well in the service of love. Let's do that together. And let's sing to the power within us. It's hymn number 368. Thank you. It's hymn 368 in your gray hymnal, and I'm going to invite you to make a word swap today in the spirit of our reflections. In the first verse, instead of singing to the power of the faith within, let's sing to the power of the rage within. You may rise or remain seated as you're most comfortable. This one's a two-parter, and so Monica and I, come on over here, Monica, are going to lead you. I'm going to do the lower part, and Monica's going to do the higher part. And we're going to make a raging noise together. Okay. Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the rage within.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power of the rage within.
Lift up your voice.
Lift up your voice.
Be not afraid.
Be not afraid.
Now let us
Sing to the power of the rage within.
Now let us sing.
Sing to the power